church today either.
Okay, we're live now.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Me, I know I was supposed to work.
It's fourth Sunday night. It's August. I have no idea where you are, but I am finally, after traveling thousands of miles, I'm finally at home. Thank God. We had marvelous church services today, neither of which were attended by either of my sidekicks, but Sanaya had a great excuse. She had a car accident, and thank God she's okay. Tamika had a not so great excuse, but I do excuse her because at least it's a legitimate excuse. But we did have marvelous services this morning. Today was dfree Sunday at First Baptist. I haven't talked about this ever on a Sunday night, so let me not only welcome all of you to the webinar, our fourth Sunday night digital fellowship, but let me let me also give you some just inspiring updates on what happened in church this morning. You know, at each one of our church services at First Baptist, we pause the service, we give a little dfree update on fourth Sunday, and we ask people if they've paid off a bill or had some financial success in the last month that they'd like to report. It's kind of a testimony service, but not an old-fashioned testimony service. It's a dfree testimony moment. And so we had some interesting testimonies today. We had a woman who testified that she paid off her car, and we get that frequently, and she's now driving her car now that it's paid for because it's actually hers. We had a woman testified that her child graduated from college with 16 student loans. 16 student loans, and she testified that 2 of them are now paid in full. So that was great. Then we had a woman testify that she paid off 2 credit cards. So this is the normal dfree testimony. And for those of you who are not at First Baptist, you should know that the dfree testimony may be as powerful as the book and the workbook and the classes themselves. Because when people, normal people, testify that they paid their car note, but they're still driving the car, or they paid off their student loan finally after 52 years, or they paid off their house, what happens is people in the congregation or people in the chapter or people in the organization actually get inspired by other people's testimonies. And so the dfree testimony in whatever setting has tremendous power. But listen to this one. So we had one woman stand up at the early service who's in the choir. And here was her testimony. She said, listen, I didn't pay off a bill. I did not, pay off a loan. But she said, I went on vacation with my husband. And for the first time, I went on vacation and didn't have to use my credit cards. I paid for the whole vacation cash because she said I was living a dfree lifestyle. I didn't have debts. I didn't have bills. And so I was able to pay for my vacation in cash. Then she said, when we got back from vacation, my washing machine just died. And she said, but because of dfree, I had a savings account, and I was able to go to my savings account and buy a new washing machine cash. And I'll tell you something, that was absolutely inspiring, because this was the same woman who 10 years ago when we launched dfree said about dfree, she said, Reverend, I think you're going too far this time. All of your projects I've supported, but this time you're going too far because my money is none of your business. And now 10 years later, she's given a dfree testimony because she sees the value of the lifestyle shift, and she's living a lifestyle. And it was just a marvelous dfree Sunday at First Baptist. And of course we had other testimonies, but that was the one that was unique. It was the one that was inspiring, and it was the one that we kept repeating as the day went on because we wanted other people to hear about that. So for those of you who are members of First Baptist and were not in church, you'll be happy and pleased to know we had an effective dfree Sunday. We gave out about 300 tickets to our 10th anniversary celebration, which we'll talk about later on. And it was well received. The congregation is enthusiastic. And I'd like to thank Michelle Dutton, our dfree leader at First Baptist, for leading out at the 2 services, 9 and 11. And Reverend Carla Calazaire was actually the leader of our dfree moment at the 7 o'clock service at First Baptist. So You should be proud to know that members of your team, Tamika and Sanaya, were on the case, on the job, and we had tremendous testimonials and enthusiasm and rousing applause for the dfree reports this morning. Now, I think that looks like my friend from Brooklyn. Is that Brooklyn on the screen?
Yes. Hello, how are you guys?
I'm fine. And Melba, how are you?
Great.
I was in Dallas, Texas last week at Bishop Jake's MegaFest, and I must have been asked 15 times, when are you coming to Brooklyn? I was at the Lot Carey Missions Convention in Greensboro, North Carolina the week before that, and I was asked at least 16 times, when are you coming to Brooklyn? And of course, I didn't know the answer, but I was able to say soon. I'm coming. Melba's been working on this for 2 years, and I'm coming for the Bridge Street Community Development Corporation, and I think I heard somebody talk about the Brooklyn Borough President having something to do with what we're doing. What are we doing in Brooklyn? First of all, tell us about you. Everybody doesn't know you like I know you. You are.
Good evening. I'm Melba Rodriguez. I am Director of Programs at Bridge Street Development Corporation. We're a nonprofit, faith-based organization located in Bedford-Stuyvesant, servicing Central Brooklyn.
Where I was born, by the way, where I was. Right.
And so we are like a community-based organization. We have 5 service areas, which are senior services. We provide services for seniors, health and wellness activities, computer classes, and we also have an affordable housing unit for seniors who live independently there. We also work with homeowners and people who are looking to purchase their home. So we have a foreclosure counseling as well as pre-purchase counseling. We do financial education, and like the list goes on. And we also do economic development. We work with merchants in the community. We also have a pop-up shop where we have an opportunity for merchants who are looking to start the brick and mortar experience. We have some spaces for them that we rent out for them at a below market value. We also work with Black and Tenant associations. We develop Black and Tenant association leaders, and we develop affordable housing. But one thing that's new, Dr. Soares, that's been kind of an initiative we've been working on for about a year now, is our faith-based initiative.
Right.
So we're working with faith leaders in the Bedford-Stuyvesant community, along with the Borough President's Office, to talk about the importance of building capacity for faith leaders, as well as providing them the support that they need as they go out into the community.
Well, we certainly want to partner with you on that. As you know, Melba, my focus has been rather exclusively aimed at helping people become financially free, starting on the road to financial freedom by getting out of debt. You can't own your own business. You can't rise above stress. You can't have peaceful marriage if you're fighting and scrimping over money. We've done that.
Correct.
However, what we have discovered, which is why our relationship with Bridge Street is so important, we've discovered that there are institutional issues that affect churches and faith organizations because of the lack of financial capacity. So that's one thing. In other words, a lot of churches are broke because the people are broke. Correct. Then the pastors who are called to serve the people are having trouble because the churches can no longer afford to pay them livable wages, and now the pastors are having to go find a hustle on the side. I'm not talking about these big mega pastors that make a whole lot of money. I'm talking about normal, everyday pastors who really love people. They're humble. They don't make a lot of money. They don't have jet airplanes. They're not on TV, you know, and making thousands of dollars giving speeches. These guys and ladies are just helping people survive on a day-to-day basis. So as dfree unfolds, and you'll see this at the conference we're going to have in October, we are finding ourselves having to help churches and institutions and pastors beyond the issue of financial freedom for members, and you're doing that already. And our partnership with you enables us to expand our capacity without changing what we do. You know, why reinvent the wheel? What kind of capacity building are you helping churches develop in Brooklyn?
But currently we had two workshops. One was on just developing a 501c3. A lot
Right.
of the churches have come to us and said, we want to do a UPK, Universal Pre-K program,
Right.
or we would like to have, just our own money in helping people. So we did a workshop on 501c3. We've also done a workshop on just developing affordable housing. There's a lot of, in Brooklyn right now, the space is very limited. Affordable housing is, although the mayor has a very ambitious plan, there's not a lot of land to develop affordable housing on. And so a lot of churches have this land. And so they want to know, how do they get into this and be able to actually develop affordable housing on their land. So those are some of the workshops that we have done. We're also looking to do one with storefront churches because of the gentrification and different change in our community. Those storefront churches that paid maybe $1,000 are now asked to be paying like $5,000 for their storefront.
Wow.
Or they don't have leases. They just kind of shook on it, and they figured that they will, because they're a church, the owner will, respect that. But they've also been a lot of issues with them as well. So, we're trying to build a capacity with the faith leaders and building a steering committee that helps us kind of reach the faith leaders.
Yeah, the other aspect of our work, which fits so neatly with yours, is that developing capital, developing financial capacity, owning businesses is a logical outgrowth of dfree. One of the things we do in the dfree process, you're familiar with the materials. We ask people to begin thinking about how to expand their income, how their talents and their dreams and their passions can be turned into small businesses and entrepreneurial opportunities. And again, when you have faith-based organizations that are building capacity in communities, it creates an environment for small businesses to grow and to flourish in those same neighborhoods. We've built affordable housing at First Baptist. I mean, all of my work prior to dfree was really in community and economic development. We developed a health center, we've developed housing, we've developed senior housing, and in the process of doing that, we've hired carpenters, we've hired electricians, we've hired all kinds of small business people. We've created an opportunity for a young man to open a supermarket. We have a Hispanic-owned supermarket. We have a Caucasian-owned supermarket. And when you empower the indigenous organizations, basically faith-based groups, to do community development, it creates a context for entrepreneurship and for individual financial improvement. So it all works together. But again, all we want to do is help people become financially free, and then partner with organizations like yours to ensure that all of the resources that can be brought to bear on a neighborhood like Bedford-Stuyvesant is brought to bear, so that the people who are there 20 years from now, when the neighborhood comes back and improves, those same people are still there.
Amen. That's exactly our goal. And one thing that I've shared with Tamika this year, we wanted to add a little flavor to the our conference day as well as our empowerment weekend, which is focusing on tenants. It's a lot of tenant harassment taking place in our community, a lot of tenants being displaced, and they don't know where to go. And so one of our programs is working with tenants and building tenant advocacy campaigns to help them stay within within the community and continue to be a long-standing residents of the community. So it's not only about
when the Emmanuel Baptist Church, that's Reverend Trufant. Salem Baptist Church, that's Reverend Thornton. And a few other churches that I can't remember right this second. When they asked me, Berean Baptist Church, that's Reverend Griffin. When these people say to me, when are you coming to Brooklyn? What am I supposed to say?
October 1st at Brooklyn Borough Hall from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's what they should be.
From 9 to 3?
You didn't know that?
No, you're done at noon.
I was going to say, somebody had to know better than that. I don't think my own church from 9 to 3. My Lord.
We know.
No, you're done at noon. Save the meat and potatoes for the afternoon. We got you out early. You're good.
Okay. And Tamika, you're going to be there?
Of course.
Tamika's gonna.
Sanaya,
Yes.
you're going to be there?
No, I won't be there.
You won't be there.
I could be there virtually.
Who
She'll
else?
be there in spirit. She'll be there until September 30th.
What are we going to do on October the 1st at Borough Hall? You know, I don't like hanging around politicians. So politicians aren't controlling this thing, are they?
No, Bridge Street is in control of this, and dfree is in control of this. We're just being welcomed by the borough presidents because they have a faith-based initiative, and so there, you know, is a centralized location. We didn't want to host it at one church or host it in our location, so we wanted to keep it neutral and be able to service the Brooklyn, you know, community as a whole.
Well, that's good. You know, what's interesting about preachers is that we often are more likely to gather in a non-religious space than a religious space, precisely for that reason. That way, none of us can get credit for what's happening. And we have a tendency to run to politicians as though they're our answer. And so we may get a better turnout having it at Brooklyn Borough Hall than we would if we had it at, you know, Tabernacle Baptist Church. That's smart. That was your idea, Miss
Yes.
Yeah, you're good. You are good. And what else is going to happen on the 1st? So walk me through what happens October 1st.
So
well, October, you want to go, Tamika? Yeah. Tamika? I don't know if Tamika wants to share. The opening is definitely just sharing a little bit about Bridge Street, our faith-based initiative. We're also, I know you don't like politicians, but there is a reverend named Reverend Kareem Kamara, who is from the New York State. He's servicing for the faith leaders, and so he'll be speaking. But of course, you'll be there, and you'll be speaking about the dfree program and all of the great things that are going on with it, and encouraging the people who are in attendance to continue to stay there for the training. And then afterwards, after you leave, after nice lunch, I don't know if you're going to stay for the lunch, but after lunch, we'll have a nice training about dfree.
Well, that's good. You know, one of the themes that I'm going to really flesh out at our September seminar is how we move from civil rights activism to financial freedom movement. You know, we pretty much understand the challenges that yet lie before us in terms of civil rights. We know that we have some issues as it relates to police training, police behavior. All of these issues are real, but the problems that flow from our civil rights needs are not as pervasive as they used to be. You know, America is not perfect. We still have minorities who are struggling for equity and parity and justice, but we're set up for that. You know, we have a growing consciousness among white Americans about issues that relate to minorities. When TV cameras have revealed the Mike Browns and other victims of police violence, just as many white people are concerned as black people. And so we have a system now. We have a black president, black attorney general. So we are basically set up to aggressively address when we discover civil rights flaws. We have political rights, etc. But we have failed to do as African Americans and Hispanics. What we have failed to do as indigenous urban dwellers is to have an economic strategy that does for our financial status what the civil rights strategy did for our civil rights status. And so as a result, we find immigrants coming from around the world who come here with an entrepreneurial perspective. They don't come here caring about what people call them. They don't come here thinking about, you know, negative publicity. They don't care. They come here for one thing, and that's opportunity. Those of us who have been here, you know, we don't want people calling us the N-word. We don't want, you know, Hispanic. You know, when I grew up in New York, all Hispanics were Puerto Rican, and you know, the Puerto Rican community did not want to be called spics. I mean, we want to be respected, and respect is fine if you have some money. I'd rather be disrespected and paid than to be respected and broke. So hopefully we'll have both. I want to passionately argue that there is a strategy available to us, and if we are as passionate about executing our financial strategy, we'll get the same kind of results we got from our civil rights strategy. And so I'll be talking about that in Brooklyn, because what's happening in Brooklyn is not driven by race as much as it's driven by money. I mean, Brooklyn is the new Harlem. And if you go to Harlem now, 90% of Harlem was not the Harlem that was there when I lived there in 1985. And I'm afraid that if Brooklynites, if traditional Brooklyn people led by the indigenous faith organizations, if they don't achieve success, Brooklyn is going to be just like Harlem, and all of the indigenous people in Brooklyn are going to be moved way out, where, I don't know, Queens or to
Queens or the Bronx. That's where everybody's going.
We're living on
being moved to the Bronx.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting about Brooklyn is that the Jamaican, if you go all the way out Flatbush, it's all Jamaican. The Jamaicans own the butcher shops. The Jamaicans own the cleaners. The Jamaicans. It's like what's that city in Jamaica? It's not Montego Bay in Brooklyn, because even Jamaicans, you know, my grandfather was from Jamaica, and Jamaicans are called the Black Jews. Jamaicans come here looking for opportunity. We have got to preserve for traditional Brooklynites, Brooklyn. And the only way to do that, not to protest, we have to develop what you're doing through faith organizations and what we're going to partner with around financial capacity. So I'm very excited about coming home to Brooklyn. There is no organization that I have greater respect for in New York City than Bridge Street Development Corporation. You know, I'm friends with the founder, Fred Lucas, way back in the day, was ahead of his time. Bridge Street has grown exponentially, consistent with the times. Bridge Street is one of the most effective organizations in America empowering urban people with particular emphasis on blacks and Hispanics. And you, my dear, although you're not the executive at Bridge Street, I've seen your work. I know your staff. I've been around your team. You are the key link in the Bridge Street chain, and I'm just happy that we're working together finally.
So am I. I'm looking forward to seeing you on October 1st. And I'm grateful to be working with Tamika. She's been very, very helpful in all these things. So I can't wait to see you guys, as well as, you know, that message that you just shared is very important, because as we work with advocacy.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Now, yeah.
Okay, one of the things that we've mentioned about the indigenous people is culture. Right. We feel that people are not familiar with their foundation and their culture. Right. And if they don't know about the history, then where are they going to go? They're going to just keep on floating around. So we definitely are on board with the same message and look forward to hearing more about it on the 1st. And seeing you in November, in case Tamika didn't tell you.
No, she does know. He knows.
All right. Well, listen, Imelda, I know it's your child's bedtime.
Yes.
Your first developmental responsibility is at home, and so we don't want to tear you away from motherhood for another second. You go and tuck your baby in and kiss your baby goodnight, and we will see you, I guess we'll see you sometime between now and the 1st, but certainly October 1st. We will put on our website all of the information about October 1st. We'll send it out, tweet it out, advertise it, and bring as much bell and whistle as we can, all right?
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Yes.
God bless you.
All right. I'll talk to you this week, Amel. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, isn't that great? Let me tell you something. I don't know have you ever met with her personally, Tamika?
No, we've always done phone.
I've
met her before.
She is just a dynamic personality. You got to watch her work. She can move around a room, make things happen, 2 and 3 things at a time. She is one of the most respected community leaders in the borough of Brooklyn.
Yeah, she's really good.
She's focused, just like the whole organization. That organization is absolutely focused. They're totally credible, and I'm hoping we can help them pull in Aquin and City National and some of our other friends who have a presence in Brooklyn, and certainly would help them do what they're trying to do. Good.
Yep. So we've just framed everything out, and we're looking good for the 1st. So
that's good. Let's talk about this Thursday, Tamika. Believe it or not, I am woefully underinformed, not because you didn't do your job, but because I've just been swamped. Talk about Wednesday night.
Right.
I don't even know what
No worries.
time it starts. So could you just kind of walk us
So,
through what's happening Thursday night in Newark?
yes. Thursday, we will be hosting our dfree financial empowerment celebration. For those of you that don't know, this is our 10th anniversary of dfree. And Thursday night, we'll be having our first 10th anniversary kickoff celebration. It will begin at 6 p.m. It's at the Robert Treat Hotel in Newark, New Jersey, which is right near NJPAC, I believe. I am from New Jersey, but I do not travel very much in New Jersey.
Right across the
But
street
during
from
that
the
evening, we will have presentations from Dr. Stories, of course, about dfree. There'll be an amazing discussion about just overall financial empowerment for the community, featuring guest speakers from dfree, from City National Bank, Tiffany the Budgetnista, and a few others on a panel. And then we have the celebration, if you will. There will be a dfree mass choir with the illustrious Grammy Award-winning BB Winans performing that evening, and we'll also be premiering the dfree movie. So if you didn't know, we have entered the Hollywood business, and we have created an amazing Steven Spielberg-worthy motion picture about dfree, capturing some really strong dfree testimonials. And so we look forward to sharing all of that with you all, and hoping that you will join us in Newark on Thursday at 6 p.m. Prudential will be sponsoring this event, so we'll have tons of information to give away. There'll be financial professionals on site if you want to talk to somebody right away. But we really just want to bring the community together to rally around the dfree concept and do it in a way that really celebrates the success of what Dr. Stories has built, but also the success of the impact of dfree on people's lives. So please join us for a powerful evening. I hope that commercial worked.
Well,
And we look forward to
Tamika,
seeing
let me ask you a few questions here. Does it start at 6 o'clock? It actually starts at 6 o'clock?
Doors will open at 6 p.m. with programming slated to start around 6:10, 6:15. We make an account for people that are moving a little bit slower, and we do know that it's during the after work time period. So the schedule has been built out so that if you are a few minutes late, don't be afraid to come. The celebration will not wait for you, but it will be timed such that you will not miss the celebration, if that makes any sense.
So, Sanaya, why are you laughing? Are you laughing at me because I didn't know what time?
No, I'm not laughing at you. Sorry, I was taking myself on mute. I'm messaging.
Because you usually are laughing at me. So if you're not laughing at me, that's a good thing.
Not this
So we
time.
start at 6, and so
Yes.
does the panel come first and the music come second?
The panel comes first and the music comes second. Yes. So like I said, it'll be timed such that you won't miss the celebration if you're a little bit late getting into it.
Yeah. Now the problem, I think, is that the room only holds 800 people, right?
If you need to be in the number, I would suggest that you register online. You can visit mydfree.org/events to reserve your spot today, but I would advise you to be. The door will be and try as possible.
Well, but the people who have tickets will be treated the same way the people who register online, right?
Yes, they will.
Okay.
Yes, they will. So show up, present your ticket, and you'll be able to get in the door.
But you will have to put your name and contact information on the back of the ticket, because then that'll be a substitute for registering online. If you register online, we know
for your registration, correct.
But if you don't register online and you have a ticket,
right,
make sure you write your name and email address on the back of the ticket, and that way we can enter your information and thank you for coming. Now, Tamika, there's also a special giveaway.
I was getting ready to go there.
For churches that sign up for dfree training, correct?
Yes. So if your church isn't doing dfree and you believe that they should, and you have a passion and a fire in your heart to get dfree started, or maybe your senior pastor is wanting to do dfree and he just hasn't had that last bit of oomph to get there, we will be giving away 80 dfree starter kits for free to churches that commit to starting dfree, to be trained in the fall and to get started for 2016. So get your church on the list. Prudential has been kind enough to sponsor 80 starter kits, which includes 24 books, 24 workbooks, the Leader's Guide, and dfree pledge cards, and we'll try to throw in some additional promotional materials as we have them available. But what you do not want to miss this opportunity. We've reached out to our mailing list, and we have churches all over the country who want these free kits. But we're hoping that churches in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area are able to get to Newark, New Jersey to meet us on Thursday and stake their commitment to starting a D-Free ministry. And we will meet them at the altar, if you will, with their D-Free books in
Okay,
hand.
so Naya, help us with this, okay? Help us with this process. We're going to walk through it. 24 D-Free workbooks. A D-Free workbook normally costs $10. So that's worth $240, correct?
Correct.
24 D-Free textbooks, and a textbook normally costs $15. And I think 24 times 15 comes to 360. Is that right?
That's correct.
So $360 worth of books, $240 worth of workbooks. That should add up to $600. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Then the leader's guide is worth something. We have to put a value to that. Let's call that $50. So that's $650. Then, did you say pledge cards?
Yes, you would get
All
D-Free
right.
pledge cards.
So you get one. So a pledge card's worth $1. So that's $24. And what else is in the starter kit, Tamika? Oh, the training itself, right? We do the training?
Right.
The
Exactly.
training,
For free.
The training is worth $1,200. That's how much it would cost.
Absolutely.
It would cost $1,200 if a church wanted a team of people to come train them in the D-Free curriculum, the D-Free strategy, using the D-Free tools. That's how much it would cost. So if you add the training, the pledge cards, the books, the workbooks, and the leader's guide, you come up with how much value, Sanaya?
1,874.
1,800 and what?
74.
$74. That means that if your church this week signs up through the 10th anniversary celebration to become a D-Free church, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, somewhere within driving distance of New Jersey, and you come to the event, you can leave that event with $1,874 worth of free D-Free materials just because you came. Now, tell me, would Dave Ramsey do that for you? Would anybody do it for you? Would Creflo Dollar do it for you? Would anybody give you $1,874 worth of content to help your members, to help your family, to help yourself become financially free? In fact, if you know somebody who would do that, send me their names and we will join their movement. Just send me their names. Any organization, any corporation, any bank, only Prudential and D-Free together are willing to do that, because we are called by God to preach good news to the poor and to set financial captives free. Now, while we're talking about free, we have 2 more free events coming up, one in September and then our national conference in October. And Sanaya, why don't you describe where we're going in September and October before we talk about our online course?
So before we go to that, there's some questions regarding the Newark event first.
Oh, good. Tamika, answer every question they have.
So one was about parking, and there is some on-the-street parking around the event, the Robert Tree Hotel, but then there's also, I know, paid public garages around the city as well. Then the other question was in regards to walk-in, like can people just walk in?
They can walk in, and they would just need to register once they get on site, give us their name and their email address when they arrive, so that one, we get a count of who's there, and we know kind of who's in the building and who we're talking to. But yes, you can do walk-ups. We prefer that you register, but if you want to bring your friend with you and they don't have a ticket and they can't register online, bring them. By all means, bring them.
Okay. Those were the 2 questions.
Good. That's good. I think we'll be in good shape. I'm hoping we don't turn people away. You know, the room, there's an outside area. We can probably fit another 100 people outside the room, but it's going to be very exciting. And our opening will be done by Reverend Slaughter, who is a new pastor in New Jersey. He's the relatively new pastor of the St. James African Methodist Episcopal Church. He is on board with dfree. He's come to our training. He's a part of our ministerial leadership. He's going to be opening the program. And Reverend Dr. Guy Campbell Jr., who is the president of the General Baptist Convention of New Jersey, he'll be closing out the program, giving the benediction and closing remarks. And it's just marvelous to see African American clergy come together and agree. We don't agree on doctrine. We don't have communion at the same time. We don't all sing the same kind of music, but we do agree that God has called shepherds to serve the sheep, and that the sheep are better off with less debt and not more debt. So this is exciting. I'm happy because we've gotten so many different churches around the country that have come together, that it's inspiring to know that it's going to happen right here in our home state. Remind me before we leave tonight to tell you all about what happened in Vallejo, California 2 weeks ago when I got there. But so now I talk about September and October, and say it very slowly because you started talking fast like Tamika and you're hanging around it too much.
So I know September 19th, we're doing, instead of having our workshop at the church, we're actually having it at the New Brunswick Theological Seminary.
Right.
And I believe that there's a bunch of different workshops that are happening throughout that day.
Right. That morning.
That morning. Yes.
Right. And that's when I'm going to give my speech. What's it called, Tamika?
Tamika fell off.
Oh, I'm giving that speech called From Civil Rights to Financial Freedom. And then there's some more words behind it. Michelle Dutton knows the whole title, but we'll be launching that. We have workshops for pastors, workshop for churches. We have a workshop for churches on handling money, and a couple of other workshops. Plus, we'll have one on insurance that Prudential will do. So that's going to be good. That's September 19th. We start at 8:30 a.m. at New Brunswick Theological Seminary, which is right across the street from Rutgers in New Brunswick. And it's free, of course. There'll be continental breakfast and free materials that are given out. Then October 30th and 31st, we have our 4th Financial Freedom Conference. We're inviting all of our churches from everywhere to send representatives. We waived the registration fee. We want people to come. We're going to talk about the future of dfree. We're going to train churches to do dfree. We're going to have an opportunity for people that want to be individual dfree representatives. We want to expand our team. So when people ask for a dfree person to come and do training and to represent the brand, I certainly can't go everywhere. Tamika and Sanaya are working their fingers to the bone. We need more people from around the country who say, send me, I'll go. We're going to premiere our online dfree course that Sanaya is working on. We're going to continue working on our youth component and say as much as we can about dfree for youth that we plan to put out in October. We're going to have work, in 2016. We're going to have workshops on having perfect credit again. We're going to have a workshop on student borrowing, student lending, and how to pay for college. It's just going to be a variety of resources all day Friday and half the day Saturday with not a lot of big, heavy speakers, but we will have reports from the field. And we have a special entrepreneurship panel where Black Enterprise is going to be the moderation through Alfred Edmonds, their digital content editor. And we've got Miko Branch, who is the owner of Miss Jessie's Hairline Products. She's going to talk about how she started her company just in her beauty shop and turned it into a multi-million-dollar corporation. We have Amanda, who's coming from Daily Worth. She started an online website giving free resources to people about money, has turned that into a multi-million-dollar business. We're going to talk to Kareem Hudson, who is a young African-American real estate developer, and he's going to talk about how you make money in real estate in today's market. And we've got Lawrence Hibbert, who is a technologist and has formed a company with the guys he went to college with, and that company is now a multi-million-dollar company, one of the few African-American companies started by college students that now has $1 billion contract. It's going to be very inspiring, very instructive. And then, of course, members of our team will be floating around, answering questions, making sure we are ready for 2016, because in 2016, we really plan to expand the brand and make an impact around the country. So if you are accessing this information, plan to come to New Jersey. You got to pay your own way. I can't do that. You got to pay for your hotel room and your food, but there's no price tag. This is not a fundraiser. We try to raise enough money to pay our bills, and that's it. We're not pocketing money. We're not profiting from this. We give away everything we can with the help of sponsors like Prudential and people like Merrill Lynch and City National Bank and Think Finance. And so just come. You need to come. If you're in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, you can drive here. If you're in Indianapolis or in Fort Lauderdale or in Louisville, Kentucky, one of the cities where we have churches working now, you've got to get here to help us build this movement out. We don't have all the ideas. We don't have all the answers, but we do have a team that's been working for 10 years on building this infrastructure. We're now ready with your help to take it to the next level. So we want you to be involved and be engaged, because this is our time to really take back what's ours and to do what the Bible says, to literally be lenders and not borrowers. Sanaya, talk about the development of the online course and what's your vision for how it's going to look and feel and what people should get ready for.
Okay, so before I do that, just two things. The talk for September 19th you're doing is from civil rights to financial freedom, closing the gaps and leaving legacies.
Closing the gaps and leaving legacies. Wonderful. Thank you.
Then to clarify, I guess at the 9 a.m. service today, you mentioned that there were buses, and I just want to confirm the buses are for the choir and for seniors, right?
Well, yes, but if there's a demand for buses from First Baptist, in other words, if we have more than 100 people, we have buses right now for 100 people, half for the choir, the ushers, half for the seniors. But if we have more people that need buses, we will get a bus for every person who needs one. And I think the buses will leave around 4 o'clock or 4:30-ish. Yeah. But call the church. If the church gets enough calls from people who want the bus, we will get a bus for everyone who wants one.
Okay. Those are two questions I got about that.
Yeah.
So for dfree Academy Online, what that's going to look like is basically we're taking the workbook and we're building it out into modules so that you're able to take it from anywhere. We've gotten a lot of people that want to sign up for classes, but they're not classes in their local area, or they can't get to a church that's doing one. So we're going to announce at the conference that we're going to have dfree 12 Steps to Financial Freedom online, and there are going to be videos, and you'll have access to worksheets so that you can work through each module at your own pace.
So what, they'll like print out the worksheets and write it down, or what? Is it interactive? You type on a form and on your computer? How does that work?
So it'll be, the PDFs would be fillable. You can fill in the data and answer the questions on your computer, or some people are comfortable and want to print it out. You can do that as well.
Okay.
So they'll be there. But then we also have in each module some resources. So there's some modules that talk about financial resources that you might need access to, and we're putting those right there for you in the same space.
Oh, really?
So you don't have to go search for it.
Links to the resources?
Correct.
Oh, that's good. You know, I don't like fillable PDFs generally, because my experience with fillable PDFs is that if you don't finish it and save it, then when you come back, you have to start from scratch. Is there any way we can protect people from that? I hate that.
Yeah, so it depends on how that was created. With this one, you have to save it like along the way. So when you go to exit out and you've put information in there, it still remains.
Well,
so it's not going to wipe away everything you've done.
Nothing more frustrating than spending time on a PDF fillable, and then when you come back to it, it's empty. You got to start over.
All your information is gone. Yeah, we'll make sure that doesn't happen.
All right, that's good. That's good. So where's Tamika? I want to bring you guys up to date on some things that are very exciting.
She's watching online. She's in the chat, but she can't get back on right now. Technological issues, I think.
It's Philadelphia. She loves Philadelphia, and she needs to come back to a real state where you have, fiber optics and you have online access, etc. So let me work my way back and tell you, because I haven't talked to you, I think, since last month.
Mm-hmm.
I spent the last couple of days in Texas, and a couple of things happened. I was at Mega Fest, and while there, of course, we spoke to the men. I did a panel with Hill Harper and a guy from the Cosby Show and some other things. But some key churches have expressed an interest in dfree. Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church in Chicago, whose pastor is Reverend Charles Jenkins, who is one of the most popular gospel artists in the country. He sings that song, He's Able. His choir is very famous. He travels. He's done like 30 cities in the last 3 weeks. He has expressed an interest and is working with my team to get me to his church when I go by Chicago, because they want dfree at the Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church, one of the most influential churches in the country, led by one of the most popular pastors in America. And that was just, so I just literally bumped into him in a restaurant while in Dallas. Then that one of the most effective and fast-growing preaching conferences in the country is held at the Concord Missionary Baptist Church in Dallas, whose pastor used to be the E.K. Bailey, and it's the E.K. Bailey Preaching Conference. Young preacher named Byron Carter is the pastor of that fast-growing mega church, and he was with Reverend Jenkins in the restaurant when I was finishing my meal. He has expressed a desire for dfree to be in Dallas at his church, which is key because not only is his church an influential church in Dallas, but his church is the center of many of the young growing pastors who are coming there every year for preaching conferences. And so that was very encouraging. But then something interesting happened. I was on this panel yesterday with Trey, you remember the lawyer in the Trayvon Martin case, Ben Crump? Well, yeah. Ben Crump, since the Trayvon Martin case and the other cases, he's representing Mike Brown and some other victims of police violence. He is also the president of the National Black Lawyers Association, the National Bar Association. The National Bar Association represents 66,000 black lawyers. And after our panel, he said to me, I've been following you and what you're doing with this debt thing. I need dfree to come to the National Bar Association. We need it for all the black lawyers in the country. Wow. So it looks like, I think it's April the 1st, they're having a meeting somewhere. We're trying to work out the schedule where we can go. And of course, my approach to them will be to ask them very simply, join the $1 billion challenge. If we can get the black lawyers to make a commitment to pay down debt, then I think that'll give, with the deltas on one side, the lawyers on the other side, it'll give a big boost to the $1 billion challenge, and we can get more sponsors and put more juice there. So that was absolutely exciting. And the visit to Dallas was so successful because of that kind of interest. Of course, we had individual churches. Tell you something else that happened in Dallas. I was really frustrated because I was just so tired of travel and flying and just tired of Dallas. It was about 300 degrees down there. But as I was walking out of the convention center, an African minister ran over to me and grabbed me. And long and short of it is, he was in Liberia 2 years ago at the seminary when I gave a lecture series on dfree, and I gave free books to all the people at the seminary. And he said that those people are using the books in Liberia, and they just can't wait for us to come back to Liberia. Also, the week before, when I was in North Carolina, I got a call from a young lady whose church is going to pilot dfree in South Africa. It's I think the Bethel Gospel Church in Johannesburg. We've got to set up a Skype conference call with the church in South Africa. I've already promised them that you and Tamika would train them through Skype when we could schedule it. So the responses have just been overwhelming. The final thing that happened when I was in Greensboro was that I got a call from the National Baptist Convention, whose convention is in Memphis, Tennessee, the week after Labor Day. They've asked me to open the convention to speak to, they probably will have 10,000 or more delegates. And then they're going to set up a dfree booth right in the main lobby of the convention, not in the exhibit area, right next to the main entrance to the convention center all week long, so that we can show our videos in the booth and we can sign churches up for dfree training for the dfree conference. It's crazy, isn't it?
That's
And
huge.
all of this is like come together at the same time.
Wow. Yeah. I also got a call from Edmund in London, and he's waiting to connect with you as well to start doing dfree there and in Africa.
Well, as you know, Angela, who is from Ghana, has been our staff person in Africa and basically responsible for coordinating Africa. The problem is Angela lived in Ghana, and Ghana has been rationing power. And so she's been on again, off again in terms of scheduling, in terms of internet, in terms of email. Angela finally got frustrated. She's now in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Angela will be over here working with us from now to the end of the conference.
Okay.
And as a result, so Angela will follow up on Edmund, on Botswana, on Liberia, on Ghana, and South Africa from here because she knows Africa real well. So it's very exciting. Are there any questions that are coming in that you think I should pause and address? Because I will. And we've got 8 minutes left. I don't want to just talk. We could just talk forever since I haven't spoken to you in a month.
There is one question about the online classes. I know we still haven't finalized it yet, but will there be a fee for the online classes, or are we going to give access to the class with the purchase of a book and a workbook?
Yeah, well, you know, that's a good question. Here is the reality. The reality is we want the class to be free, but we need people to pay for the book because we can't just give books away. So my thought is, Sanaya, as you develop this, what we should do is we should attach a fee to the course and make the book free, but make the fee the same price it would be if they bought the book. That way we can control them getting the book rather than saying, you know, sign up for the course is free, but go over here to get the book. So we got to figure that out.
Okay.
Which means then that the course wouldn't, the registration for the course could not cost more than $25.
Right.
Which comes to about 75 cents per module. Yeah.
And that's the only question that's in the chat for now.
Okay, good. The final thing I want to say about dfree is that we do need help. We need help on every level. We need help from people who are willing to make phone calls. We certainly need social media help. I mean, we need people who will commit themselves to sharing every tweet, reposting and sharing every Facebook posting, redoing, I forget what you call it, reposting, Instagram, kind of, in other words, the digital platform. We need people to promote our YouTube page. I am proud of our YouTube page. In fact, the latest upload to our YouTube page features a surprise graduation that took place in Vallejo, California. I went to Vallejo to preach for the 5th anniversary of Reverend Dante Quick, who is our dfree leader in Northern California. When I got there, I discovered that, first of all, he was including in his pastoral anniversary a dfree graduation on Sunday morning. And secondly, that there are 4 churches in Vallejo, California doing dfree, not 1. And so if you go to the YouTube page, you'll actually see a very high quality video clip of the dfree graduation at the Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. Now, what's interesting about this YouTube page, we have, I think it's now 57 videos on our YouTube page. We've got training videos, we've got testimonial videos, we have a trailer for the documentary video, we've got speeches videos. I've got a lecture that I gave at Princeton University, giving the historical, socio-economic perspective on dfree. And so if we had 25 people go to the YouTube page and then just send out various videos to their friends, email it, post it on the Facebook pages, we could get much more interest in dfree, because nothing sells dfree like the testimonies of people who have been blessed. I have a couple that I met in Greensboro, North Carolina, and their testimony is on there. I uploaded their video. I took it with my phone, They said that they bought the dfree book at Hampton Ministers Conference. They used the dfree strategy. They're now saving $1,400 every single month. It's on the YouTube page. So go to youtube.com/mydfree and you'll see the playlist. We've got all kinds of videos there. We've got the dfree to be free TV series that I did. We've got speeches and all kinds of things. If we just had 25 people, if you're somebody right now who is willing to go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/mydfree, send Sanaya a message right now and say, I will go to YouTube right now. Just take 8 minutes. Go to the YouTube
I put
page.
the link in the chat so you guys can access the YouTube page right by that link.
Find the video of your choice or subscribe to it and send it to your friends and say you subscribe. Because if you subscribe to the YouTube page, every time a new video goes up, it comes to you automatically. But we really need the YouTube page to have many, many, many more visitors. We don't talk about it much, but that's where we need help. You don't have to go to any meetings. You don't have to write a check to anybody. Just go to the YouTube page. If you share those videos, you'll make a tremendous impact and contribution to dfree. Put it on your Facebook page. Put it to your Twitter feed. Whatever social media platform you have can be useful as we spread the word about our work, about the benefits, and you expose people to the testimonies.
Like becoming a dfree ambassador.
A dfree digital ambassador. I like that. I like that. All right. Well, Miss Anaya, you've been great help, obviously, all this year. You've been by my side. Our digital presence is growing. I'm hoping in 2016 that we will have everything fleshed out the way we want it to be. The $1 Billion Challenge website will be exactly what we want, because I still believe that ultimately it's the younger people that we have to get to. All of them have smartphones, have tablets, and are digitized. And so we want to make that our priority for next year. So thank you so much. I have no idea. Where did Tamika go?
She's in the chat, so she's been communicating in the chat. She says, this is an awesome experience to watch. Great job, Pastor and Sanaya.
Yeah, Tamika's a politician. You know, they teach people in law school how to talk like that. But thank you, Sanaya. I'm glad that your accident did not incapacitate you. What about your car? Is your car okay?
No, my car is in the shop. I should get an estimate this week.
My goodness. Well, thank God you weren't. You can get another car, but you can't get another you. So
Very
thank
true.
God for that. And until we meet again like this, everybody who's on, thank you for joining us. You can tweet this. You can go to the YouTube. This will be on our YouTube page. You can go to the YouTube page. You can go back to this, listen over to what you missed, and then email it, tweet it. Pinterest, is that the name of that? Pinterest, Pinterest, or whatever it is.
Interest, yeah.
Google Plus, just spread the word. It takes 8 minutes of your life. Take 8 minutes, spread the word from our YouTube page, and I promise you, whoever you send it to will thank you for sending it. All right, God bless. Thank you, Miss Sanaya, and I'll talk to you this week.
Talk to you later.
Are
Good
you
night,
here
everyone.
Thursday night?
Yes, I will be.
You better be. Okay. Great.
Bye.